Hi, pleased to see you on the mat again. So this week's practice is about the Manipura chakra, which is the solar plexus. So it's the space between the belly button and the lower part of the ribs. This chakra sits right where the stomach is. So it's a really good chakra to work the digestive system. The colour of this chakra is yellow and its element is fire. So it's like that true saying of the fire in the belly, to build that up, to get ourselves strong, our willpower strong. It's the core place for our personality and our ego. Now, when it's active, we can be quite angry, controlling, a workaholic, judgmental. But when it's inactive, we can be quite fearful, insecure, needy, and care what other people think. So we have to try and balance this out to bring us somewhere in the middle, so we can be quite spontaneous, respect for others, and we have the willpower to continue with whatever we want to do. So it's a place for confidence, personal power, self-discipline, and we really like this chakra for a reason of it makes us feel good. It's the I do chakra, so the one that makes us get on with our life. So when we're thinking of this chakra and the colour yellow, we can sort of think about a burning glow of sunshine or a burning ball of fire. They're the type of things that our awareness sit with this chakra. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this practice. It is quite a strong one because it's all about strength. So I'm actually going to be using hand weights through some of this practice. So feel free to grab yourself some hand weights if you've got them, or a couple of tins of beans just to hold on to, just to give that extra bit of weight in the hands. But this practice can also be done with no weights at all. It's a personal preference. So we're going to start with using what we call the breath of fire. I sent you a video earlier on in the week to show you how to do this. Now this really works the abdominals, because what we're doing is we're going to be doing short, sharp breaths and pulling that belly button back. And this activates this place, that solar plexus, the Manipura chakra. We're going to start in standing. So if you come onto your feet, but to the long edge of the mat, because we're going to have our feet nice and wide. Bring the hands just down by the sides of the body for a moment. So our feet are way further than hip width apart. Tuck down with the tailbone, drawn back with the belly. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, then back down towards the hips. Then bring the hands up so they're in like a star position. And then bring the fingertips into the palm of the hands, but keep the thumbs out. So that is our active point. And from here, we're going to do some breath of fire. But before we do that, we're just going to take a couple of long, deep breaths, in for 4 and out for 4. Take a breath in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Take a breath in to half, sharp exhales out. Breathe in deeply, then breathe out completely. We'll do that again. Breathe into half. Breathe out sharply, drawing that belly back. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out completely. Breathe into half. Sharp exhales out the nose. Keep drawing that belly back as you exhale sharply out of those noses. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out completely and release the hands down by the sides of the body. Take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Place the hands on the hips. Make sure the toes are in front of the heels or slightly pointing inward. Take a breath in. Take a breath out and come to a half fold. Remember, you can use books here if you need to bring your hands down onto the books or onto the mat. Release the hands to the floor and bend and straighten those legs. Remember, by using a block or a book, can bring that floor a little closer for the hands. Bending and stretching those hamstrings, allowing them to be aware that we're going to be stretching them throughout the practice. Just allow the head to hang, to stretch and traction the back of that neck. Going in and out of flexion and extension with those legs. And then the next time you come to stretch those legs, feel it down the back posterior chain of muscles. Lift the tailbone a little higher, then walk the hands forward towards the front of the mat. Almost bringing that bum down level with the shoulders. When you've come to the furthest stretch you can get with the back of those legs, then start to lift those hips and push that chest back towards those thighs. Just holding it here in a wide leg downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Try and keep those heels down as much as you can. Those toes in front of the heels are pointing slightly inwards. Wide fingers. Create some space between the shoulders and the ears. Taking another couple of breaths here. Nice long deep inhales in. And long exhales out. Maybe in and out through that nose if you can. Then start to walk those hands back in towards those feet, bending the knees as much as you need to. And then when the hands come back to the feet, slowly curl up through that spine, leaving the arms heavy, coming back all the way up to standing. And then turn the right toes to the front edge of the mat and take a bend in that right knee. Finding warrior two here for a couple of breaths. Maybe you need to creep those right toes a little further forward to come a little lower in those hips so we can try and bring that right thigh parallel towards the mat. Arms are in line with the shoulders. Turn the palms up, let the shoulders relax. Then turn the palms back, leaving those shoulders where they are. Maybe sink a little lower in the hips, pushing energetically into that left foot. One more breath here. Then reverse that right palm, reach forward, then send that right hand up to the ceiling to gaze in towards that right palm. Still keeping the bend in that right knee, energetically pushing into that outside edge of that left foot. Trying to tuck the bum under, draw the bellies back. Hold it in this reverse warrior just for another couple of breaths. Relaxing that right shoulder back to the hip. Trying to feel that stretch through that right rib cage. Then bring those shoulders back over those hips. Straighten up through that right leg. Turn those right toes back to the long edge. Turn the left toes to the short edge. And then take a bend into that left knee. So trying to bring that left thigh parallel to the floor, arms parallel to the floor, but in line with the shoulders. Turn the palms up, let the shoulders relax. Turn the palms back, leave those shoulders where they are. So feel like you're tethering those ribs and hips towards each other, creating some strength in that Manipura chakra, that solar plexus place. And think of that colour yellow in that space between the belly button and the lower part of those ribs, that ball of fire, that ball of energy. Then turn that left palm, reach forward and lift that left hand up to the ceiling, right hand down the back of the right leg, still keeping that left knee bent, that right leg straight, the gaze up towards that left palm. Bums tucked under, belly's drawn back, breathing into that left rib cage, feeling that core connection in the center of that body. That breath of fire, building strength in that Manipura chakra. The willpower to hold these poses. Bring those shoulders back over the hips, arms back to shoulder height. Turn both sets of toes back to the long edge of the mat. Bring the hands back onto the hips. As you breathe out, come to a half fold. Straight legs if you can. Either bring the hands onto a block or onto the floor. Walk the hands back forward in front of you so we come to that wide leg downward facing dog position again. Lifting the hips, pushing those chests back towards those thighs. Create that space between the shoulders. Push those heels down towards the mat. Making sure we're keeping those knees safe by having those toes either in front of the heels or turning slightly inwards. Ground into the whole of the palm. Lift that tailbone maybe a little higher. Push that chest back a little further. One more breath here. Then start to walk those hands back towards the feet. If you need to bend the knees, bend the knees. Bring the hands underneath those shoulders. Allow that body to take a full forward fold between those legs. The heads don't need to meet the mat, just an intention to get there. Draw the belly back. Use that hip flexor strength to allow that body to fold over those legs. Then bring those hands back onto the hips as you breathe in, coming up with a straight back, all the way back up to standing. Heel toe those feet back into the center. And then turn yourself to your front edge of the mat, bringing your feet hip width apart. So we're going to start with 4 rounds of sun salutations. Breathe in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. Take a breath out, fold over the legs, bend the knees if you need to bring the hands down to the floor or the shins. Breath in comes up to a half lift. Place the hands on the shins, straight back. Breath out, release the hands to the floor, step your right foot back, step your left foot back to a plank position. And then release the knees to the floor, turn the creases of the elbows as you bring that body down towards the mat. Untuck the toes, push into the hands and lift with the chest. Release the chest down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back towards the thighs. Push into the hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back. Take a nice long deep breath in. Long breath out. Your next breath in, raise the right leg. Bring the knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step that foot through. Step the left foot to meet the right. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Hands on shins or fingertips. Release the hands down, step your left foot back. Step your right foot back to meet the left, plank position. Either drop the knees or release down to the floor, straight bodies. Roll through, up, lift up those chests. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes with straight legs, lifting the hips back to down dog. Take a nice long deep breath in and a long breath out. Your next breath in, raise that left leg. Bring the knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step that left foot through. Help it through if you need to. Step the right foot to meet the left. Allow the body to fold. Next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. So the next sun salutation, I'm going to do jump back to chaturanga. If you wish to join me, feel free to do so, but you have to keep that core center nice and strong. So we're going to do 2 jump backs. If you wish to still step back, feel free to do so. But your jump backs have to land with your elbows bent, not in plank position. So it needs to be in low plank chaturanga. If you want to watch for the first one, feel free to watch. If you're wanting to step back, feel free to step back. But also I'm going to be jumping forward rather than lifting the legs. So go with what works for you. You can do the same as we've just done if you wish. Engage that center space, tether the ribs and hips. Keep everything engaged as you move through these next 2 sun salutations if you're with me. Breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, jump back, bend the elbows to low chaturanga. Roll over those toes, lift up the chest, keeping the thighs away, or just take your baby cobras. Making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back, or meeting down dog for a breath. So either stepping back or jumping back. Take a nice long deep breath in and a long breath out. Your next breath in, either raise the right leg and then bring it through, or if you're coming with me, bend the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat and allow that body to fold over those legs. Your next breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Release the hands down, then breathe in, raise the hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, either step back with your left leg or jump back to chaturanga. Roll through and lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or straight over those toes, lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a couple of breaths in down dog. Long breaths in, long breaths out. So your next breath in, either step with the left foot or jump with both feet to the front of the mat. Allow that body to forward fold. Next breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Close the eyes. Find a little stability in both of those feet. Pushing into the ball and the heel of the foot. Try not to rock out to the outside edges or the inside edges. Try and find that grounding in that space in between. Release the hands down by the side of the body. Take a breath in, bring the hands back, take a bend in the knees, and then lift those arms up to the ceiling, bringing ourselves into chair pose, releasing those hips low. Now tuck that tailbone down and draw that belly back. Then bring the hands onto the knees. We're going to take breath of fire here. Take a long deep breath in. Long breath out. Half breath in. And pump those bellies out through the nose. Take a long deep breath in. Long breath out, fold over those legs. Breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, step or jump back to chaturanga or plank. Roll through, up, lift up those chests. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a long, deep breath in. Long breath out through the mouth or the nose. Then make your way back to the front of the mat, step or jump. Allow the body fold over those legs. Your next breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. Your breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Find that grounding into the feet. Find that strength in the core. Find that body feeling nice and supported and grounded and rooted into that earth. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, take a bend in the knees. Hold it in chair, tuck the tailbone down, draw the belly back. Then sink a little lower if you wish. One more breath here. Then bring the hands to the chest. Your left elbow, right knee, and take a rotation to the right. Make sure that left knee doesn't pop forward. Try and keep it in line with the right. Try and keep the hips low. The rotation through the waist, the stretch through that QL muscle on that left side back. Push that elbow of the left into that right knee as much as you can and rotate the shoulders around to the right as far as you can take them. Digestive system being squeezed here, that area of that solar plexus. One more breath here. Breath in brings it back to the center and fold over those legs on a breath out. Let go of the head. Give that head a little nod and a shake. Next breath in, bend the knees, raise the arms up, keep the hips low. Then bring the hands to the chest. Take the right elbow this time to the left knee. Keep the right knee in line with the left. Push that right elbow into that left knee to rotate and twist to the left side. Hips stay nice and low. Rotation from the waist. Work that solar plexus, that Manipura chakra. And imagine that colour yellow in between that space between the belly button and the lower ribs. That place for personality and ego, for confidence and willpower. Next breath out, fold over those legs. Let that head go. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, either step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up and lift up those chests. Making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Roll the shoulders back. Push that chest back to those thighs. Push grounding into the hands and the feet so we connect with that root chakra. And feel that breath flowing in and out through the nose with fluidity. To connect with that second chakra, the Svadhisthana chakra. And then feel about that belly drawing back to connect with that solar plexus chakra, the Manipura chakra, the lower three chakras of the body. Coming down onto the knees. Maybe time just to take yourself into child's pose just to restore the breath before we go through our full standing flow sequence. Or maybe take on a little water if you wish. So remembering your vinyasas can be as strong or not, so you can drop the knees if you need to when you flow your vinyasas. If you want to go straight bodies all the way to the floor or chaturanga, work with what feels best for you. The more active you feel, you'll maybe want to step the vinyasas up to the stronger. But when you move through these vinyasas, make sure you keep this core center nice and strong. The drawback of the belly, so the connection of the muscles in those abdominals are switched on. The tethering of the ribs and the hips. So making your way now, if you're in child's pose, to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, and just make sure you've got your weights one side of the mat and to the other. As if you're using the weights, we'll be picking them up as we go through this standing flow, just to strengthen those shoulders a little, those arms. Your next breath in, raise that right leg up to the ceiling. Bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between those hands as you step that right foot through. Drop that back knee and curl those back toes. Take a hold of the weights. Raise those hands up to the ceiling and sink into those hips. Try and tuck that tailbone down. Squeeze that belly back. Keep nice and strong and supported in that waist, through that belly, supporting that lower back so we're not impinging in that lower part of the spine. Hold it here just for one more breath. Then bring that left hand down, the right hand stays lifted, and we turn around to that right side. So we've got a rotation in low lunge. So the gaze can be up towards that right fist or down towards that right foot if you wish. That left hand is either grounded or holding the weight, whatever feels most comfortable for you, if you're using weights or not. One more breath here. Then release that right hand down, release the weights to either side of the mat, tuck the back toes under, step back to plank, and flow a vinyasa of your choice. Releasing to the floor, either dropping the knees or straight bodies. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release back down, tuck under those toes, bring the chest back towards the thighs. Push into those hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Have a little nod and shake of the head. Your next breath in, we raise that left leg. Bend into the knee and bring it into the chest. And step that left foot through. Drop that back knee and curl the back toes. Take a hold of the weights. Raise the hands up to our low lunge and sink the hips. Draw and squeeze that belly. Keep it strong in that center. Nice long deep breaths in, long breaths out. Ground into the feet, connect with that earth. Then bring your right hand down to the floor. Keep the left hand lifted and rotate that body to the left side. Opening the chest to the left, keeping that left knee squeezing into the center line. Either the right hand's grounded or holding on to that weight. The gaze can be up or down towards that left foot, depending on how that neck feels. Long breaths in. Each breath out, squeeze that belly back a little further. Connect that core center. One more breath here. Then release that left hand down. Place the weights either side of the mat if you're using. Tuck the back toes under, step back to plank. And make your way through your next vinyasa, either hovering in chaturanga or lowering to the floor. Lifting the chest, keeping the thighs away or grounded. Making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or straight over those toes, lifting those hips. Long breath in and a long breath out. Next breath in, raise that right leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between those hands as you step the right foot through. Drop the back knee and curl the toes. Take the weights if you're using them. Lift the hands up to our low lunge position, arms. Then release that left hand down. Right hand stays lifted. Hold it there for a breath. Then keeping the twist in the waist, find your twisted warrior low lunge. Right hand back, left hand forward, arms at shoulder height. Holding it here just for another couple of breaths. Long breath in, long breath out. And then bring those hands around and up and over. Release the weights to the floor, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, step back to plank. Vinyasa of your choice. Release down to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up those chests. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or pushing over those toes with straight legs. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Ready to take it on the opposite side. Breath in, raise that left leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as we step that left foot through. Drop the back knee and curl the back toes. Take a hold of the weights if you're using. And raise those hands up to your low lunge arms. Sink into those hips. Draw the bellies back. Push into the top of the back foot, the whole of the front foot. Bring your right hand down. Keep your left hand lifted. Rotate to the left for the breath. Then find your twisted warrior in low lunge. Left arm back, right arm forward. Arms to shoulder height. Rotation through the waist. The hips stay facing that short edge of the mat and our bodies twist to the long edge. On that left side, one more breath here. Then windmill the hands down. Bring those weights either side of the mat, tuck the back toes under, step back to plank. And then release down to the floor, your variation of Vinyasa. You can drop the knees if you wish. Come through up, lift up those chests. Release back down, tuck under those toes, chest back to the thighs. Push into those hands and feet, lift up the hips, squeeze those heels back. Coming down onto the knees, taking a couple of moments, maybe in child's pose, just to restore that breath. Long breath in, long breath out. Maybe walk the hands to the right side of the mat, left hand on top of the right. Just sink that chest to the inside of that right thigh for a breath. The hands back through centre, take them over to the left side, right hand on top of the left. And then allow that chest to sink into that left thigh. Walk the hands back into centre, take a breath out in neutral spine. Then make your way back up onto your hands and knees, stepping back to a plank and lifting the hips back to down dog. To continue through this flow, this standing Vinyasa flow of strength, willpower, self-esteem, confidence. Breath in, raise that right leg. Breath out, bring that knee to the chest. Step that right foot through, in between the hands, drop the back knee and curl the toes, take the weights in. Lift the arms to the ceiling. Then release that left hand down, right hand stays lifted, rotate to the right. Then lift that body up, shoulders over the hips to our twisted warrior, low lunge. Hold it there for a breath. Then release that left hand back down, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee in our high lunge rotation. Holding it here for a couple of breaths, maybe gazing up towards that right hand. So we need to feel some stability now into the feet. As you then raise that body up, shoulders over the hips but rotated to the right. So we've now got our high lunge rotated warrior. Back leg straight and knees lifted. If you're unhappy with the knee lifted, keep that knee down. One more breath here. Keep that squeeze through that waist, that Manipura Chakra. Then windmill the hands down, either side of that foot, release them to either side of the mat. Step back to a plank and Vinyasa of your choice. Either drop knees or straight to the floor or chaturanga. Lift the chest, making your way back to down dog on your out breath. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. A long deep breath in, long breath out. Your next breath in, raise that left leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step it through. Drop down that back knee and curl those back toes. Take the weights if you're using. Come up to your low lunge arms. Drop the right arm down, keep the left hand lifted, rotate to the left. Then push into those feet. Bring those shoulders over those hips to get that reversed warrior in low lunge. One breath here. Then bring that right hand back down, lift the left hand back up. Tuck the back toes under, lift that back knee. So we have our high lunge rotation for a breath or two. Stabilize the feet now, really push them into the mat. And then engage the core center as you raise those shoulders over those hips, rotating that body to the left, hips facing the front, short edge of the mat. Use that willpower to keep going, but also if it feels wrong, come out. That burning ball of fire in that solar plexus space, that Manipura chakra. Then windmill the hands down, either side of that foot, drop the weights back, step back to plank and vinyasa of your choice. Maybe you come to a hover if you feel you've got that energy. Roll through, up, lift up the chest, making your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back, coming down onto the knees, or take a vinyasa if you wish to continue without rest. Meeting you back in down dog. Maybe take a little time to take on some water. Remember, water breaks can come in vinyasas if you wish, if you don't wish to do those vinyasas. So we'll just take a couple of moments either in child's pose before we start our next add-on to that standing flow. So the next add-on will be taking it through to warrior two and then taking it into a reverse warrior again. And then we'll flow a second flow after that. So we're really building that heat up in the body, really connecting into this solar plexus area, this willpower, this self-discipline, power and strength. Make your way from wherever you are back to your downward facing dog. Remember, even if you started with using the weights and you don't wish to continue with the weights, leave the weights out. But if you do it on the right, do it on the left to keep our body balanced. Your next breath in, raise that right leg. Bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step the right foot through, help it through. If you need to, drop the back knee and curl the toes. Take a hold of the weights. Raise the arms up to our low lunge. Drop the left hand down, keep the right hand lifted. Rotate to the right. Push into the top of the back foot, the whole of the front foot as you raise those shoulders to come over the hips but be turned to the right side. Arms in line with the shoulders. Then bring that left hand back down, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, right arm goes back up to the ceiling to find that high lunge rotation. So remember now to ground strong into the feet as you then slowly raise those shoulders back over the hips with the body still turned to the right, hips straight forward. Bring your right arm down, left arm up and over, drop the back heel to find our warrior two. Sink into that right knee, hips nice and low. If you need to bring the hands down, if the arms are fatiguing, bring them down to the hips or create some willpower to hold it. That's self-discipline. Turn that right palm, reach forward, raise the right hand up to the ceiling, the left hand down the back of the left leg and gaze up into that hand with the weight. Or if you're not using weights, gaze into that palm. Keep that right knee bent, bum tucked under, belly's drawn back. Your next breath out, windmill the hands down. Release the weights, step back to a plank position. Vinyasa of your choice. Either straight to the floor, dropping the knees or straight bodies. Or chaturanga, hover. All making our way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Take a little paddle through the feet. A nod and shake through the head. A long deep breath in. And a long breath out. To take that flow on the other side. Breath in, raise that left leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step that left foot through. Drop down onto the back knee, uncurl the back toes, grab hold of the weights. If you're using, lift them up to our low lunge arms. Drop that right hand down, twist to the left, keep the left hand lifted. Hold it here for a breath. Then take our twisted warrior in low lunge legs. Arms out, shoulder height. Bring that right hand back down, tuck under the back toes, lift that back knee. Find that stability and support into the floor, into the earth. As you then raise that shoulders over those hips again with the waist twist. Left arm back, right arm forward. Hold it in that twisted warrior, high lunge legs. Then bring your left arm down, your right arm up and over. Drop the back right heel. Find warrior two facing the right side. Energetically push into that right foot and into the left foot. Draw those bellies back, connect that core center. Then turn that left palm, reach forward, lift and reverse the warrior. Breathe into that left rib cage. Gaze up to that left palm. Noticing the weights, creating a little more strength through those shoulders, building a little more heat throughout the body. One more breath here. Then windmill the hands down, either side of that front foot, release the weight, step back to plank. And Vinyasa of your choice. You can drop the knees to make it less energetic, or Chaturanga to take it to the opposite side of that scale. All the time keeping that Manipura chakra engaged. That solar plexus area. That personality, that ego, the I do. Come down onto the knees. Maybe take a little drink here if you wish. Remember your practice. I know personally I'm getting really hot in this. My internal body's on fire, which is what we're aiming to get with this particular chakra series. It's all about internal heat. It's all about feeling that inner body, building strength to show on the outer body. The mind is strong, the I can, the I do. That place of discipline, that place of action, rather than being in that inertia place, that place of lethargy and not feeling like you can. So making our way back to down dog, we're adding another couple of poses onto the end of that. So we're going to be doing high lunge on the end and high lunge aeroplane too. So make your way back to down dog. Remember, you don't have to keep using those weights if you don't wish. If you're finding that's giving you a good challenge, continue. If you want to just step it down a bit as we're adding these poses on, drop the weights out of the practice. Your next breath in, raise that right leg. Bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step that right foot through. Drop that back knee and curl those toes. Take a hold of the weights if you're using. Lift those hands up to the ceiling, sink into the hips. Bring your left hand down, right hand stays lifted. Rotate the shoulders to the right, turn from the waist. Then bring yourself up to the low lunge legs, twisted warrior to the right. Hold it there for a breath. Then bring that left hand back down, lift the right hand back up to the ceiling. Tuck the back toes under and lift that back knee. Stabilize the feet first, then raise Up with the shoulders, over the hips. Keep the front knee bent, back leg straight. Bring your right arm down around, left arm up and over to find warrior two. Find the legs, right knee turned out. Reverse the warrior, reach forward and lift those hands of the right to the ceiling, the hand of the left back to that left leg. Bring yourself back then to warrior two. Bring your left arm down and around. Come onto the toes of the back foot to raise those arms to high lunge position. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms. Then take the arms behind you, lift them up into extension and bring that chest to your 45 degrees. Starting to work into those biceps by lifting the arms back. Push strong into both feet. Length through the spine and the crown. Keep drawing those arms up a little higher. Then release those hands down either side of that right foot. Release the weights. Step back to a plank and flow through a vinyasa of your choice. Chaturanga, keep the elbows grazing the ribs and make your way back to down dog. Lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Have a nod and a shake of those heads. Then your next breath in, raise that left leg up towards the ceiling. Bring the knee to the chest. Gaze in between the hands as you step that left foot through. Drop that back knee and curl those back toes. Take a hold of the weights. Raise the hands up to low lunge. Drop the right hand, keep the left hand lifted. Rotate the waist, shoulders to the left. Bring the shoulders back over the hips, arms to shoulder height, left arm back, right arm forward. Bring the right hand back down to the floor, lift the left to the ceiling. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Keeping that front knee nice and bent. Strong into the floor with the feet. As you raise the shoulders again, high lunge warrior rotation. Drop the left arm down, right arm up. Find warrior two, drop the back heel. Turn that left palm, reach forward. Lift it up to the ceiling, right hand down the back of the right leg to reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two arms. Scoop the right arm down, around, forward and up. So we come onto the toes of the back foot to find high lunge. Try not to flare those ribs. Bring the arms down and back, lift them up. And use those tricep strength at the back of the arms to lift those arms higher. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep that left knee bent. That body, that torso at 45 degrees, long spine, grow through the crown. Then release those hands down. Step that left foot back. Plank position, vinyasa of your choice. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up. Lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Come down onto the knees. Choice to take on water if you wish. Before we take ourselves into our last little flow, which won't include any of those things, but we're going to take it into a little standing balance flow. So we'll be taking it into staff pose. So just to quickly demonstrate, we'll come through high lunge, we'll step through. You can have weights if you wish into staff or with a bent knee if you want to. And then we take it into aeroplanes. So then it's that one leg standing aeroplane balance. Arms are back, either holding weights or not. And then we'll take it back to staff for a hold for a breath. And then we'll bend into that knee and take it back to high lunge. And release back to the floor. So just take another couple of moments here. Either taking some water or taking yourself to child's pose, or even if you wish to do a vinyasa, if you don't care for the breaks, really kick it up. It's always quite hard for me to continue when I'm talking, so maybe in my own practice I would probably continue Vinyasa flowing if it was me. But obviously I need to have some breath for you guys to keep you aware of what's happening. Okay, so let's make our way back into downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Just making sure that alignment in down dog is good. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Create that space between the shoulders and the ears. Try and tether the ribs and hips. Keep that Manipura chakra engaged. Your next breath in, raise up with that right leg. Bring that knee into the chest. Gaze in between the hands, step the right foot through. Stay off the back knee this time. Take a hold of the weights if you're using. Raise the arms up to your high lunge. Then step forward onto your right foot, bringing your left knee through. Then if you wish to straighten that left leg, bring it forward, pushing the left heel away. Toes back to the shins, holding it here for a couple of breaths. Or keep that knee bent if you wish. Then we're going to take it back to aeroplane balance. So the left leg goes back, either bent or straight. The arms lift up to engage those triceps. Try and keep the hips nice and level. That grounding through that standing right leg. Keep lifting those arms a little higher. That torso nice and straight. Trying to get it parallel to the floor, same with the left leg. Then take it back to staff pose. Raise the arms. Either keep a bent knee or straighten that left leg. Hold it here for a breath. And then step that left foot back. Finding high lunge again here. Take a dip into that left knee, bend the arms, cactus arms. Raise those hands. Cactus the arms, bend that left knee, bring the knee to the floor. Straighten the arms, straighten the back leg. One more time. Cactus the arms, bend the back knee. Straighten the arms, straighten the leg. Release the hands down. Step back to a plank. Vinyasa, or take on water if you wish. Roll through, up, lift at the chest. Or finding our way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. So ready to take those same poses on that left side. Breath in, raise the left leg. Breath out, bring the knee to the chest. Step the foot in between the hands. Take a hold of the weights if you're using. Raise the hands up to the ceiling. Bend that left knee. Step forward onto the left foot. Bring the right knee through up to hip high or straighten that right leg. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. Keep those arms lifted. That right heel pushing away, the legs straight and the toes back to the shins. And then take it pendulum with that right leg. Bringing the arms down, back to that aeroplane balance. Torso in line with the floor, right hip in line with the left hip. Raise the hands a little higher. Switch those muscles on. Hold it here for one more breath. Then bring those arms back up. Bring the right leg back through either bent knee or straight leg. Holding it just for a breath or two. And then bring that right leg back. Find high lunge. Go into knee drops. Bend that back knee. Cactus the arms. Raise that back leg. Straighten those arms. 2 more times. Dip into that right knee. Bend the arms. Straighten the arms. Straighten the back leg. 1 more time. Bend into that knee. And straighten. Release the hands down. Step back to a plank. Last vinyasa before we start taking it down towards our relaxation. Last down dog. Make your way into a seat. So what would it be if I wasn't to do boat pose in this core solar plexus Manipura chakra? So bring those feet forward. Find that balancing point between the sit bones and the lower spine. Either take a hold of the creases of the knees to bring one leg up, then the other. Roll the shoulders back. If you release the hands and feel comfortable to do so, release the hands. You may wish to stay here. You may wish to straighten those legs. Switch on those quads to straighten those legs. Hold it here just for a couple of breaths. Nice long breaths in. Long breaths out. Think of that colour yellow in that solar plexus space. That ball of fire, of energy, of sun. One more breath here. Release the feet down. Give the knees a hug. Straighten up through the spine. Grow through the crown. Then just allow that head to fold in between those knees. Straighten out both legs. Bring the arms to shoulder height. Slowly and controlled. Bring those bodies all the way down towards that mat. Letting the shoulders and the heads be the last thing. Bring the arms to a T shape. Bring the knees into a bend. Let the knees go over to your right side. Your gaze over to the left. Just take a moment with those knees dropping over, just to feel that rotation through the waist, that movement of that digestive system. Just noticing how the center of that body feels, that core connection, that Manipura chakra, the place of fire, the I do space, the ego. Bring those knees back into the center. Take them over to the opposite side, maybe your gaze to the right. Feel that full rotation of that spine. Thinking of that space, that solar plexus space, that place of confidence, willpower, self-discipline. Knowing that given the right mindset, that you can do. Bring those knees back to the center. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Just give those knees a squeeze for a moment. And then release those feet back to the mat. Bring the feet out mat width apart. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body, fingers gently curled, palms facing up. Take a little rock of those hips from side to side. Maybe adjust that lower spine by pushing into the heels, straightening the lower spine out a little, bringing it back to the mat. Take a turn of the head in one direction, back through center, over to the other side. Back into the middle. Let the shoulders relax. Then bring your focus to that space in between the belly button and the lower ribs. Thinking and imagining fire in that belly. We need to start to just calm that fire down as we bring ourselves into that slight place of relaxation, that consolidation of everything we've just done. Maybe curling the tongue and breathing in and out through the mouth, that cooling breath. Just cooling that inner body back down from its strong practice, the build-up of that fire in the belly. Knowing that we've created strength, but we've also found stability and fluidity, working those lower 3 chakras. The Muladhara root chakra, the Svadhisthana sacral chakra, and the Manipura, the solar plexus chakra. The physical chakras in the lower part of the body, creating stability, creativity, and strength. If you wish to take a little longer in relaxation, feel free to do so. If you're ready to come out, bring slow movements into the body, then find yourself back in seated, connecting back with all those 5 senses of smell, taste, touch, hearing, feel. In the meantime, have peace in your thoughts, have peace in your words, have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.